The Oxford Football Coaches Corner with Sam Adams is brought to you by Room Home Furnishings. Room is locally owned and operated in Oxford, serving Northeast Alabama and surrounding areas. Room offers quality name brand furniture and accessories for your home at the absolute best price. When visiting their beautifully decorated showroom, you'll find a large selection of sofas, love seats, recliners, mattresses, dining tables, dining chairs, lamps, pendant lighting, leather furniture, power sofas, power love seat, power recliners, and much more. Room Home Furnishings in Oxford helps turn your house into a home. And we welcome you into the Oxford Football Coaches Corner with Coach Sam Adams, presented by Room Home Furnishings. And Coach, another big win for the guys last week on the road at Shades Valley. Talk about kind of what you guys learned about your team. I know kind of faced some adversity at the beginning, able to pull away in the second half. What did you learn about the guys?
Well, I thought we responded well to a different kind of situation than we'd been in on the defensive side of the ball. They kind of came out in some like extra lineman kind of heavy sets that we really didn't prepare for ahead of time because they had not shown those. So there was some adjusting on the fly that had to be done. They were able to put together two pretty solid drives early in the game, but once we got that part of it kind of ironed out, they really didn't threaten all that much after early second quarter maybe. Then offensively, I like the fact that we had another guy be the big statistical type guy within the game with DK Wilson. It had been Nick Richardson in the first game, then Kamari Hampton in the second game, and then it was DK in this game with the 5 carries for 112, I think, 2 rushing touchdowns, 1 receiving touchdown, and Jaden Thomas had some pretty good numbers at the running back spot as well, and ended up averaging close to 10 yards a carry, 8, 9, 10 yards a carry over the course of the game.
How important is that to have not only 1 but 2 running backs that can get in there, can get positive yards and get the job done?
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, in 6A football, if you've only got 1 running back, you're going to run into some bad situations over the course of the season. And those guys they each have a different kind of skill set, and they bring something a lot different to the table. So, and we can play them both at the same time. We did that a few times the other night. DK can also play in the slot as a receiver type position, and JT's lined up in the slot a couple times this year. So, we like how multiple that we can be with those guys, and they both can be very explosive.
And talk about your defense specifically. You mentioned those couple drives from Shades Valley early. Your defense had to make some adjustments. What do you like about this defense that you're able to put on the field this year?
Well, I think any scores that we've given up so far were hard-earned scores. We're not giving up a lot of big plays at this point in the year. We're making teams snap the football a lot of times in order to score and making them put together 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 play drives. And, truth be told, not a lot of high school offenses can do that and execute their way down the field and snap it that many times. So, those are the biggest things. We're tackling a whole lot better than we did last year. We still miss a few, as everybody does, but we're getting a lot of guys at the ball. We're tackling well, and we're making the offenses earn everything that they get.
That was a very physical game, and so I'm sure you took a lot away from your guys in the way they handled that and the way, again, they were able to make adjustments in a big region game.
Yeah, that's the region play is the most important stuff that we have. We're, I guess, fortunate to be ranked in the top 10 this week, and I've had people, ask me about it, and it's much different than college football. That has no bearing on any kind of playoff scenario or anything like that. It all comes down to how well you play in region and how many games you win, and hopefully, we can get a 1 or 2 seed at the end of the year to get a home game in the first round of the playoffs, and in order to do that, we're going to have to beat some really good football teams.
Do you see kind of what Shades Valley brought to you and kind of the adjustments you made being able to help you as you move into region play with some of these other teams? Will we see similar things to what we saw on Friday night?
Yeah, I don't know if we'll see another specific personnel group exactly like that where they're just playing a bunch of extra linemen. I think the idea behind it was, we're not the largest team across the defensive front out there. We got some – what most people would consider to be undersized type guys, and they were trying to put in extra big guys to kind of counter that for us. And it was, it was a good idea, and it was a good plan. It was successful for them for a little while. There'll be other teams that try to just line up and run it right at us and see how we respond to that. But we just got to be able to, keep answering the bell play after play. We're not going to get a whole lot bigger before the end of the season. That's out of the question. We are who we are, but being, maybe not as big, not the biggest team out there, but being a little more athletic than a lot of other teams. I mean, that's our strength. So, we kind of have to understand the pluses and minuses that go along with the personnel that we have.
I know we talked about the running backs, and of course, quarterback Mason Mims has had a great season so far. But from what I saw Friday night, just the offensive line opening up huge holes for your running backs to run through. What do you like about this specific group of offensive linemen?
Yeah, I mean, those guys have steadily improved. If you look at the 4 games that we kind of have under our belt, counting the Jamboree as one of them, we kind of struggled to run the football a little bit early on, and you've seen us have a little bit more success each week with that. And it's kind of the same story as on the defensive side. I mean, we got some bigger guys up there. We also have some guys that are not as big on the offensive line, and so we're trying to make sure that we're asking them to do things in the game that they can actually have success doing. Whether that's playing the game a little bit more on the perimeter with some outside type runs, or put them in positions to where they're not necessarily having to take on. We're trying not to match up a 190-pound guy with a 300-pound guy and just have them go nose to nose and see who can drive who back. We're trying to play the angles of the game in there, but they've steadily improved. I think their understanding of their responsibilities continues to get better, and they're putting us in really good positions. I mean, we're throwing it a lot. We're running it more successful each week, and if we can continue to do that, that'll just make us a better offense at the end of the year.
Got Huffman this week. It's homecoming before we get to the game. I know it's Coach's least favorite week of the year for homecoming. Talk about kind of how you handle just all the kind of the outside distractions to get the team ready for what could be a tough game.
Yeah, the homecoming week has a lot of other stuff that goes along with it. A lot of dress-up days during the school week, and events going on at night. And you really try to balance that and give them time to be kids and enjoy that part of the season. At the same time, just maintaining the understanding that our big role in this thing is to play good football on Friday night. And, it's been a very business-like week of practice, I would think, for us. I wouldn't call it the best week we've ever had. It's also not the worst week we've ever had. So, we just hope that we keep the perspective that our goal every week, regardless of who the opponent is just to play to our standard of football and to practice to our standard. And, if we can do that, that's the mark of a mature team.
Huffman coming in this week. They've yet to win a game. Talk about kind of what you've seen from them and kind of how you've got the team to focus on this Huffman team. Yeah,
they're struggling. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I think what's important when you play a game like this is just to make sure that we get off to the start that we need to get off to, and don't allow them to build any confidence as the game goes on. And really, every week we game plan for opponents and all that kind of stuff, and try to take advantage of things we feel like we can. But each week the message is very similar, regardless of the team that we're playing, whether it's the number 1 team in the state or the last team in the state. It's just to be the best version of us and execute the things that we're asked to do, and then just let the chips fall where they may.
So Oxford and Huffman coming up this week at Lamar Field here at Oxford. We'll take a quick timeout. When we come back, we'll have Coach Adams' 3 keys for success presented by One Tom Plumber.
Welcome to Room by Room Home Furnishings, a locally owned and operated furniture store located in Oxford, Alabama. We've been serving Northeast Alabama and the surrounding area since 2007. We offer stylish and affordable new arrivals and all the top trends to help you get a cozy and homey atmosphere with hand-picked home furnishings and decor to fit anybody's style and budget with knowledge, personality, and good vibes. Let Room by Room in Oxford, Alabama help you score amazing deals and turn your house into a home.
Wait! This isn't a game. It's your basement. It's filling with water. And even worse, it's 2 a.m. Who are you going to call? Time's up. We'll come out 24/7, 365, any day, any time to put out any fires. Well, not actual fire. There's a better number for that. But when it comes to plumbing, call One Tom Plumber.
We're back for the One Tom Plumber 3 keys to success as Oxford gets ready to take on Huffman Friday night. Coach, what are your 3 keys for success?
Well, the first thing is just playing, what I would consider a clean game. No pre-snap or post-whistle penalties, and continuing to do a really good job taking care of the football on offense like we have all season long up to this point. That's something we've done a really good job of. And then defensively, just continuing to make those guys earn every yard that they get and not allow any easy yards. I mean, every even if they get a first down or two, I mean, that's not the end of the world as long as they're having to work hard to get it and they're having to play at a high level in order to move the chains. And, and offensively, I want to see us just continue to maintain some balance and have a lot of guys involved in the game plan and a lot of guys produce when their number is called and continue to be, really unselfish in that regard. We got a lot of guys that can contribute, and so we don't necessarily have one star out there. We've got 5-6 guys that can do really good things with the ball, and it's important for them to kind of keep that in mind that there's only one football out there, and so somebody's going to get to touch it and somebody's not on every play. So far, we've been really good at that, and hopefully that continues.
Those are your one-time plumber 3 keys for success. This has been your Oxford Football Coaches Corner with Coach Sam Adams, presented by Room Home Furnishings.